Join us as we explore 7 different variations of the bridge. Hey everybody, I'm Peter Teloniatis and welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be demonstrating a variety of different bridge movements using this towel. We're going to use this towel as a balance cue here. We're going to be taking it and basically folding it so that it's the length of our torso. When you're ready, you're going to lay it down on your mat, and when positioning your towel on the ground, you want to have it roughly the length of your head to your tailbone. So just from your head down to your pelvis. And what you're wanting to do is narrow your towel so that you can decrease your base of support. Naturally, if you want it to be more challenging, you can narrow the towel even further. If you want it to be easier, simply widen the base of support by widening the towel. And so when we initially begin with the bridge, we want to start off with a posterior pelvic tilt. Cross your arms, of course, to kind of narrow your base of support. And then what you're going to do is you're going to rock your pelvis very gently into what we call a posterior pelvic tilt. And when you do that, you actually avoid any back extension work, so you do not strain your low back. All you're going to be doing with a basic bridge is tilting your pelvis and lifting your tailbone off the towel. And that's your basic bridge. That's all I want you to focus on. This way you can really make sure that you're not exaggerating the movement of extension from your spine and straining your low back in the process. So once this is established, I want you to make sure that your heels are hip width apart, and we're just going to get practicing this basic movement a little bit. You don't have to lift your pelvis too high. I'm basically lifting mine an inch or two off the towel and holding it there for a few seconds and dropping it down. Of course, make sure that you're not holding your breath in this movement so that you don't increase your interthoracic pressure. And you also want to make sure that your knees are not collapsing in as you lift your pelvis up. Sometimes the knees will collapse in as a result of weakness in the glute muscles. So your knees stay in line with your heels and your hips ideally. So this is your basic bridge. And when we progress this, what we're going to do is we're going to add a degree of difficulty to this basic bridge movement by working on a marching bridge. So first off, what you're going to do is you're going to reposition your body on the towel so that you're right in the center of it. Then you're going to tilt your pelvis into that posterior pelvic tilt, your pelvis 1 inch off the towel, and when you're ready, you're going to lift one leg up so that your knee is leveled with your hip, and you're going to alternate sides, going from left to right. We're going to repeat this 10 times. And then in transition, you're going to maintain that pelvic bridge at all times. This is a fantastic exercise because it really trains your pelvis and really your gluteal muscles to maintain continuous activation while transitioning from one leg to the other. This motion really simulates walking, lunging, stair climbing, any kind of alternating movement that really focuses on the transition from one leg to the other. This is a great core workout as well because it really maintains good core control at all times. Your focus with this exercise is to maintain pelvic alignment where the hip bones stay aligned with each other rather than drooping towards one side. What's common is the leg that's lifted will drop because the weight-bearing leg is not strong enough to sustain its hold. We're holding this bridge posture for approximately 2 seconds, and we're just going to finish our last 2 repetitions here. Next, we're going to be transitioning to what's called the frog bridge. We're going to bring our heels and toes touching, and really we're maintaining our foot support with the outside of our feet. In this position, we're going to go into our posterior pelvic tilt and lift our pelvis up. And we're really going to work on holding this posture for approximately 10 seconds at a time. Again, repeating 10 times. What you'll notice with this one is the knees are not in alignment with the ankles, but rather the knees are wider apart. We're really narrowing our base of support here with our feet and along with a towel, making it more challenging to balance. As well, we're just targeting a different angle of the gluteal muscle that we're working. You'll notice that in this exercise, I have my eyes closed. I can do so to increase the difficulty of the exercise. And while keeping my pelvis up in the air, I can sustain this posture and shift my body weight from left to right for the duration of those 10 seconds to increase the level of difficulty and also my body's awareness of where it is in space. So let's work through these last 5 reps together as we raise our pelvis up. We hold it, maintain a normal breathing pattern, arms crossed over and down. And again, number 6. As we hold this position, we focus on the pelvis. And 7, try to maximize gluteal contraction. Excellent. Number 8, focusing on not straining our back, but rather keeping our pelvic bones neutral. Number 9, and number 10. What we're focusing on here is making sure that we're not putting our pressure through our head or our shoulders, but rather through our heels of our feet. Okay, great work. Now we're going to be focusing on a single arm overhead reaching bridge where we work on our smooth pursuit eye tracking. Take your right arm, followed by the left. Track that thumb as you reach overhead, as you maintain your pelvic bridge. What you're doing here is you're really just focusing on the neck mobility and tracking your thumb with your eyes as you reach overhead, encouraging a little bit of shoulder and trunk extension where you arch your back slightly. This exercise is great for individuals who have developed an apprehension or who experience disequilibrium when they are in bed and experiencing dizziness following a vertigo attack. It's a good way to develop an adaptation strategy or compensation when dealing with dizziness if you've been suffering from a condition called BPPV. Excellent work. We now bring our attention back to our heels and we cross our arms over our chest and we narrow our feet together. We're focusing on a narrow bridge as we keep the heels and toes touching, knees touching, and we hold this bridge for 10 seconds at a time. As we do this, you may notice quite a bit of rocking, quite a bit of shaking of your muscles in your feet and your knees and your pelvis. You may notice your shoulders rocking from left to right, trying to stabilize. Try not to strain from the neck, but rather try to focus on weight bearing through the heels and engaging the glute muscles to maintain that stability over that towel. Performing this exercise, holding it for 10 seconds at a time, working on 10 repetitions. So as we go through these last few, take a moment to gain a little bit of stability on your towel. You'll notice quite a bit of your pressure is in your shoulder blades. Try to support that pressure evenly left and right, and making sure that you're also supporting quite a bit of the weight through your mid-back. And now we're going to be working on a single leg bridge with a straight leg raise. You're going to start off by weight bearing on your left leg. Straighten out the right knee and you raise the right leg up while maintaining that pelvic lift. What we're going to be doing here is alternating from right to left and repeating this 10 times as we slowly, gradually transition our leg down to the starting position, which is where the thigh is parallel with the ground. As you maintain this pelvic lift, really focus on not straining your neck, but rather focus on the weight on the heel of the foot. You may be a little bit wobbly on your towel, but still focus on kind of re-bringing yourself back to a balanced position. You may need to lessen the duration of your straight leg raise, but you're going to focus on trying to limit how much you touch with both feet. You're going to see if you can kind of gradually transition that leg back down to the starting position and then repeat on the other side. Great work, everybody. So as you slowly start to refine this movement, what you'll notice is that your pelvic bones stay in perfect alignment as your leg slowly drops to the ground. And you want to try to maintain this nice hamstring length by straightening out your knee and maintaining a nice gradual transition from one leg to the other. Very good. So now we're going to be working on a crossover bridge where you focus on the single leg bridge again and encourage that weight bearing from that left leg. Place your weight on your left heel, and you're going to be repeating this 30 times per side. As you do this, pay attention to how much pressure you're putting in your low back. You want to emphasize the weight or the pressure through your gluteal muscle, and also take note of if your right hip is drooping. It should not be. The pelvic bones should be in good alignment. Once you've completed this side and you've completed 30 repetitions of 2-second holds, we're going to gradually transition to the other leg. So as we slowly wrap up your left single leg bridge, we're going to slowly transition to the right. Now, what's important with this exercise is that it is done without getting any hamstring spasming. Sometimes if the reliance on the lift is too great on the hamstring, what you'll notice is that your hamstring, which is the back of your thigh, will spasm. So if that's the case, you need to reevaluate how your knee positioning may be, or how much you're relying on your glute rather than your low back and your hamstring. As we transition to our right side now, make sure your pelvic bones are nicely aligned and that you're supporting yourself just with that right heel. This is a great exercise to start transitioning from a double leg bridge to a single leg bridge. And doing 30 repetitions is designed to create endurance and stamina with this hip extension motion. Hip strengthening is extremely important as we spend much of our day in a sitting posture where we have these glute muscles lengthened and unengaged. So very important to be doing them regularly. All right. Excellent work, everybody. Thank you for sticking with me for these exercises. I hope you enjoyed them. If you liked our video, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thank you again.